Today, welcome to Cooped Up Live, should I say, my daily-ish broadcast where I just talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about. While we're waiting on folks to join, coopedup.com is my website. I promise I'm going to start posting more content there, but for now you can go and sign up to get emails from me very sporadically, but you'll be the first to get them when they do start showing up. I'm Cooped Up is my handle in all the social places. Would love a follow wherever you are, particularly if you're on Instagrams. And wherever you watch or listen to this, it is on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, as well as rebroadcast in audio format on most of the major podcasting platforms. Would love a follow. Click the link to subscribe, the bell, whatever they call it, on the platform of your choice, so that you don't miss a moment. Hey, Mama, how you doing today? Hope you're doing well. So did I see a text from you that your gift arrived? I think that I was at the orthodontist with the kids and I saw something come through from you. So in case y'all don't know, I don't think I mentioned it earlier this week. For Mother's Day, I got my mom an Ancestry DNA kit. So it's one of those kits from Ancestry.com where you get the box, you spit in the tube a lot. It's like this much spit in this like vial, and then you mail it in. And 6 to 8 weeks later, it tells you about your heritage, your all of that kind of stuff. I actually ended up ordering one for Claire as well, and I've got the this is full of spit right here. That's got to go in the mail. And Mason's already done one before, and we've learned some interesting things about him. We thought Mason was Filipino and Mexican, and it turns out there's not a lick of Asian in him at all. He is from Oaxaca, Mexico, in the Basque region of Spain, specifically. So interesting stuff, and I'll be interested to know what yours turns out to have on it, Mom, also. And I think once you go into the app, so you need to go, so you can either do it online or you can do it within the app. You'll get a thing to activate the test. But I'm shocked at how long it takes. It says 6 to 8 weeks is how long it takes. I'm thinking that it said the same when Mason had it, but I think we got it in like 3 weeks. I don't think it was a full 6 to 8 weeks. Everybody wants to know the DNA, yo. And there are 2 DNA tests that are the main ones on the market. There's this Ancestry.com one, which is more about, as the name describes, more about ancestry and how you're related to other people, the region of the world you're from. It is so specific. It can tell you like the region within the region within the region, like what state you are most likely from, or what it's remarkably granular in what it can tell you. So that's really interesting to me. And then there's the other one called 23andMe, which I have done. And that one is more about quirky health things. So it tells you actual health things too. It has a little bit of a DNA element to it, like ancestry, heritage kind of element to it. But its main thing is more health information. So it tells you if your genetics say that you are able to flip your tongue over, or if you're able to roll your tongue, or if you're able to do, like, if you flush when you drink alcohol, if all these things that you probably know about yourself already if you were old enough to take this test. But that's neither. I got it for free back when it first came out. They sent it to me as a influencer to kind of talk about it, know about it. But there is some information on that one. Like they've started rolling out more, like if you have the markers for certain health things. For a while they were doing it, and then I think the government shut them down and said they couldn't do, because it was health information and they had to like rework the way they were doing it. But it can now tell you, that 23andMe one can now tell you if you have like the markers for Alzheimer's, if you have the markers for certain types of cancer, all of this sort of thing. And it is shocking. Oh, and it's always being updated. It's always like, I get updates a couple of times a year saying, oh, we now have this new test that we can tie to your DNA, all that kind of stuff. But when they rolled out the Alzheimer's one, it was one of those things where you had to like quadruple opt into this thing. It was like, hey, we have this new, we can tell you if you have the prominent marker for Alzheimer's, which it doesn't mean you have it. It just means there is a And I think there's markers for like certain types of breast cancer, certain types of things that just are more predominant in certain people, right? They're like, do you want to explore whether you have that marker? Yes. Are you sure you want to? Because once you learn this, you can't turn around. You can only learn it once. Yes. Okay, well, we're almost there. We need you to tell us again. Do you really, really, really want to know this information? Because this could really fuck up your life. Yes. One last time. Well, don't say we didn't tell you so. Yes. And then, of course, mine was nothing. It said nothing. So Eric is saying, I love your shirt. Guess what? This is a shirt that I have not worn in forever. And you know why I'm wearing it now? Because I've lost 35 pounds. Yeah, so I like it too. This is an old Gap shirt. I've had this shirt for ages. I bought it, I think, one year for like an Easter event or something. It's super cute. My favorite part of it, even though yellow is not even one of my favorite colors, I like the little like hints of yellow on it in different places. For some reason, I like that a lot. And I had it tucked in earlier because I can do what now? Tuck my shirt in and not look like an idiot. So thank you. There's one more thing my mom's saying I'm excited to learn the results. Yeah, I'm tempted to order the Ancestry one also, Mom. And because it'll tie us together and then your results kind of tie into mine, all that kind of stuff. I am wondering, so by the way, Ancestry is owned by the Mormon Church, the Church of Latter-day Saints, because they are like the biggest researchers of ancestry. It's such a big deal to them. But what was I going to say about that? Oh, I already lost it. Whatever. I would be interested in, I know what I was going to say. You know, Ancestry is like a really big deal. Are these tests as popular like overseas as they are here in the United States? I feel like, so it's weird. I feel like people in England, for example, are very obsessed with their heritage because they think that they might be related to like the royal bloodline, right? Like some sort of nobility and all of that kind of stuff. Because I feel like all my British friends, if they have any connection at all to nobility, they could tell you what level, how many steps away, all of this kind of stuff they are from the crown, right? And then Americans, I think we Americans are very interested in genealogy and our heritage because we're all such mutts. Like we are all such a mix of different nationalities, of different languages, different all these, like we're just that mixing bowl. Wasn't that what they call it? A mixing pot? Yes, melting pot. So I think Americans are, but like Germans, I don't even know if Germans are all that interested in their heritage, right? Because if you really think about it, most Germans are German, obviously, and Germany is smaller than the state of Texas. So every relative that you might have, unless they have gone away and gone somewhere else, America most likely, are within an area smaller than the state of Texas. So maybe it's not as important to them. I don't know. I'm speculating on that completely. I actually don't know the answer. I don't know if like Chinese people are interested in this sort of thing. Indian people. I think Indian people might, because they might want to be able to connect to a caste up because they have such a strict caste system there. Anyway, Monica's saying, aren't you glad you didn't Martha Stewart it? I think you mean Marie Kondo. Did I not Marie Kondo it? That's Marie Kondo's book right there. When I purged. Yes. I kept a few shirts, and I kept this one because it makes me smile. I really like this shirt. It's just a cutie pie shirt. But it's been so long since I haven't worn it that it was still one on our old hangers, because I started replacing all of our wooden hangers with black velvet hangers over a year ago. And that's one of the measures I know if it's something that I have not worn recently. If it does not if it is still living on one of the old wooden hangers, I'm like, your time might be up. I don't wear that very often. So, what else was I going to talk about today? Okay, let's get to the main topic, and then I'll go on to the other things. Have you all seen this Martha Stewart cover? So she is one of the cover models for the Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition. Everyone knows what that is. It's where they just have swimsuit models on things. And they've started branching out. It used to be the Swimsuit Edition was strictly like the Bo Derricks and the Kathy Irelands and the Cindy Crawfords of the world, right? And they've since started adding in people with different ages, different body shapes, all that kind of stuff. To their credit, it's great. But so this year, Martha Stewart, it was just announced earlier this week, Martha Stewart is the oldest one ever. Martha Stewart is fucking 81 years old. That woman looks so good. How in the world does she look so okay, so I have some theories on this, how she still looks so good. Because she still drinks. She's a felon. Not that felon has anything to do with the way you look, but all of these types of things. But so one, she's already genetically a very beautiful person. She was a model before she was an author, before she was anything else. But yes, she looks amazing. I agree. 81. And you know what? There's a couple of things that she does where I'm like, okay, you could tell she's a slightly older woman. Just like a stance, like the way her like kind of bends her knees into each other and all that kind of stuff. Like it's a little bit of a more elderly body posture. But I'm going to give you a fucking pass if you are 81 years old, because you know what? My in-laws are 80 this year. My dad died at 68. My grandfather died at 71. My grandmother died. How old was Mammy when she died? I think she was maybe in her early 80s, mid 80s. And she was like an old looking person when she died. Mammy was kind of one of those ladies. She's kind of like Barbara Bush, where she looked old even when she wasn't old. She was just like an older looking person always. She looked like an older soul. But I have no one other than Mamu, maybe that's my dad's mom. I don't know that I have very many relatives that have lived outside of their 70s. Like I can't think of anyone. And it's mostly because I come from every fat fuck who's white south of San Antonio. One of my favorite jokes is obesity runs in my family. No, the problem is no one runs in your family. That is so true for me. So that's why I'm kind of on this like health kick, well, health-ish kick. I'm not kicking alcohol. I'm still eating better. Let's say I'm making better choices. Progress, not perfection. Progress, not perfection. Yeah, my mom says her mom was 64 when she died. Yes, I know. It's crazy, right? And I look at that and I'm like, so you're already older than your mom was when she died? Wow. I'm looking at this and I'm like, I don't want 15 or 20 years only. I want more. So anyway, back to Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart, I think she comes from a stock of really long-lived people. I do think she's very active. She's one of those people who has just never sat down. You know, that's one of the things that my granddaddy used to always tell me that his brother Leslie said is his brother Leslie at the end of his life was in a wheelchair. And he regrets that. He said, never sit down. Like that was like the phrase, never sit down. Meaning once you get into that like sedentary position, like you can't get out of it. Like that is like a death spiral right there. And so never sit down. So I think Martha is like just really hardworking, again, beautiful. I also know that she has a very, very aggressive skincare regimen. I was reading something about all the stuff that she does. She does a face mask every single morning. Like she gets up, goes to the bathroom, washes her face, does a face mask, and I'm sure this shit costs like $100 a piece because she's rich, you know. And she does a face mask every morning. She also supposedly is super militant about sun exposure. That is something that I am not as militant about as I should. I despise wearing sunscreen on my face because it always travels into my eyes. I've gotten on the kick some where I Supergoop has this one called Unseen Sunscreen, and it's matte finish. It doesn't cause the white hazing, and it doesn't travel. Because my issue is I'm a big eye toucher. I know that's not healthy either, but I rub my eyes a lot, and especially with allergies and such. So I get sunscreen in my eyes. And I'm sorry, even the tear-free sunscreen, it still makes your eyes burn. So Eric is saying, I just need to outlive my money by one day. Yeah. So I'm not trying to hit 100. but I'm also not trying to die at 68. Like, I want to know my grandkids. I want to know my grandkids very well. I want to be able to take my grandkids on vacation. I want them to be able to come stay with me for weeks at a time. That sort of thing. That is what I want for that. And even, I mean, I have known, funny enough, I talk about all these people dying so young. I've actually known most of my grandparents. I've even known great grandparents. My great grandmother was still alive when Claire was born. She died like 5 days after Claire was born. So technically, Claire, even though she wasn't legally mine yet, Claire technically had or effectively, not technically, effectively, had a great great grandmother for a few days. Isn't that mind blowing? Because I come from a stock of people, again, every overweight white person south of San Antonio. We're country people, and we have babies at 20. Age 20, between 20 and like 23 is when you start having your babies. I'm an old starter that I started at 34, 35. But yeah, anyway. So it's easy when you're 20 to have a grandmother. So you're born when your mom is 20, and she had her mom. She was born when her mom was 20. So mom's 40. Great grandmother is 60. Doesn't that blow your mind? Also, I think that's how math works, right? Yeah. Jody is saying, I don't care how Martha looks, just send me my CBD. Yeah, Martha Stewart has some really, it's good flavors. The gummies are fantastic. And she's gotten into a lot of that kind of stuff. Also, I think it's interesting though that Martha has also embraced some of the older parts of her persona, because like she's pushing. So Skechers has these shoes right now that you just step into and you don't have to bend over to. They have a collapsible heel that snaps back into place, and you don't have to tie them or anything like that. And supposedly they stay on your feet really, really well. I have a friend who she owns or part owner or something of the company that invented that technology. She's here in Dallas, and it's interesting. So Martha has embraced that now, and she's doing ads for Skechers for these shoes, which are more for people who just aren't as mobile. They can't like bend over and put the shoes on and stuff as easily. But she's again a sunscreen like hardcore for your anything that hits, so hands, face. And supposedly when she's around people, if she doesn't think that they're wearing enough sunscreen, she makes them put sunscreen on too. So I wouldn't mind having Martha tell me to put on sunscreen. My friend Rusty from college is married to one of her artistic directors or something like that. So I've got like 2 degrees of separation from Martha Stewart. Or maybe that's 3. I guess Rusty knows her because she may have officiated their wedding. I can't remember. She was somehow involved in their wedding. You know that's a fucking flawless wedding if Martha Stewart is at your wedding, especially if she's part of it. Can you imagine the stress of that? Can you imagine how perfect that fucking wedding has to be if you know Martha Stewart is showing up? Like, I almost would rather not have Martha Stewart at my wedding because I'm thinking that the stress is not worth it. Now, I'm not saying I'd kick her out of the wedding, but still. Anyway, my watch, just all these notifications are going off. What else was I going to talk about? I've been so busy today. I wrote a media training guide today. I've written a press release. I had a kid home sick from school today also. So kid number 2. So Mason missed school on Monday because he's been all drippy and coffee and all of that kind of stuff. He started feeling bad when we were in Stephenville on Saturday, and then kind of slept all day Sunday and slept all day Monday as well. But he went to school yesterday and today, and I'm just loading him up full of Delsum for his cough, Claritin for antihistamine, and like Advil and stuff for everything else. And then Claire missed school today for cramping. So it's that time of the month for her. I promised her I would never joke about that publicly, so that's not what I'm doing. But so we've had 2 kids miss today. Eric is saying, back to Martha Stewart, my friend Justin, I remember he had a party watching that show, right? Went to her big tag sale at her home a couple of years ago. That was bonkersville. Like, I would have loved to have gone to that as well. But anyway, it's actually back to Martha Stewart though. So she looked great. She, I think there's like 4 different outfits that she was in, bathing suit things. It's more than one photo, and she looks flawless in all of them, like just fantastic. And one of the things that I love about Martha as she's getting older is she's embracing that she can almost make fun of herself at being an influencer, at being sexy. She does all these thirst trap things on her Instagram. It is awesome, and like even on her social promoting this Sports Illustrated thing, she's like, "Am I sexier this way or this way?" It's hilarious. I love it. I love it, and she's sexy all the ways. I'm not gonna lie. Um, what else? So I talked about that. I talked about the kids being homesick and just being busy. Again, didn't have a chance to do my card today, so I've got it written on my other screen here. Oh, I forgot to tell you yesterday. So Monday. So does this make me romantic or not? Because I am not known for being the most romantic person, and I'm not a very sentimental person. I don't hang on to things. I don't need to mark special occasions in huge ways. I'm just as happy going to the same restaurant we go to all the time for my anniversary as I am for going to a special occasion place, that sort of thing. So about a month ago, maybe a couple of months ago, I realized that I was probably nearing the mark when I was going to pass the threshold of half my life with Todd, half my life without Todd, right? And I knew it was coming up around probably this year. I actually may have calculated this like close to a year ago, even now that I'm thinking about it. And I just put it on my calendar so I wouldn't forget it. So this past Monday marked the midpoint of my life with Todd, the exact same number. It's hard to explain out loud. So on the day of my first date with Todd, I was 8,842 days old. So 8,842 days old on February the 28th, 1999. That is how old I was. And so what I figured out, so that was how I first did it. I figured out how many days old was I on February 28th, 1999, based on subtracting that from my birthday. I let Google do it. I just went to Google and asked it, how many days old was I on this date if I was born on this date? It did that. So figured out that number. Then I asked it, how many days, or what is the date that is 8,842 days? So 8,842 days after February 28th. Well, that date was this past Monday. So what was that? 17th, 16th, 15th. The 15th. May 15th, 2023 was the exact same number of days since then, which means yesterday I was officially one day over half of my life with Todd, which I think that's kind of romantic that I looked that up, right? I mean, it's a really cool stat, first of all. And I love statistics. That was my minor in college. I love the way you can like look at numbers and stuff. And I'm really good at math. I don't enjoy it particularly, but I'm really good at it. And when I kind of figure out a way to like make it tell a story, I like math that tells stories. That's why I like statistics. And so I didn't tell Todd that I had calculated this. I kept it a secret. When we were in Mexico last week, I wanted to make sure that I took a picture of him. So I wanted to we don't have a lot of pictures together, and we don't have a lot of pictures of the 4 of us either. I have a lot of pictures of me, because I'm what? Vain. And self-centered. And my own biggest fan. I should stop that list now. I'm starting to sound terrible. I have a lot of pictures of me. I have a lot of pictures of me with the kids, because either I've taken selfies of me with the kids because I'm with them most of the time, or Todd has taken them of me with them. And then I have pictures of Todd with the kids also, right? But there's not a lot of us all 4 together, or just with me and Todd. And so last week, knowing that I review my calendar, I try to look at a couple of weeks in advance just so I'm mentally prepared for what's coming up, so I can prep for it, all that kind of stuff. So nothing surprises me. I don't like surprises on my calendar. And good surprises, bad surprises, otherwise. And so I noticed a couple of weeks ago that this date was coming up, and that I'd put the date on again, I put this date on the calendar like a year ago when I realized I was wanting to calculate this. So I was like, okay, I was already workshopping how I was going to explain it on social media, how I was going to talk about it, like what it means, what do we call it? I never came up with the name of what to call it. But I wanted a picture that is fairly recent for it. And so last week when we were in Mexico, I had Claire, and I didn't include the kids in on this either because you can't trust them for shit. I had Claire. We were in the French restaurant at the resort where we were staying at the Brasserie, and I had Claire take a photo of me and Todd, and knowing that this is what I was going to use it for. And we took a bunch of photos. I put it through my photo editor. It's not filtered in the sense of I didn't like airbrush anything, just enhance certain colors, that sort of thing. That's what Lightroom does. And Monica's like, oh my God, spit it out already. I know. My ADHD lately is raging, even with my medication. So I had Claire take this photo, and then I posted. And so I didn't even tell Todd before I posted it. So I posted it on social. It's gotten a lot of traction. A lot of people have been like, oh my God, that's so romantic, and all that stuff. I haven't actually asked him how he feels about it. He loved it. And we've had a general conversation about it. Because I then went and figured out just the other day when his was, and his was already like back in August of 2022, because Todd is younger than I am. Most people don't realize that. Todd is about 9 months younger than I am. And so that means he was younger when we started dating, and obviously he's still younger than I am. But it ended up being a great photo. Thanks, Mom. Love that photo. Did I put it on your frame? So total sidebar, if you do not have this Aura frame, so this was a Mother's Day gift, I believe Mother's Day gift, or maybe birthday gift. I think it was Mother's Day a few years ago that I got for my mom. And we got one for my mother-in-law also. I got one for Todd for one time, because I got one myself as a gift and loved it. And it's called the Aura frame, Aura. And it is wonderful because there's no membership fee for it. It's just you pay for it. It's a little on the expensive side on the front end, but that's how a lot of these digital frames get you, is that they charge you hardly anything on the front end, but you have to pay a monthly subscription for it. And this app is wonderfully intuitive, and you can just shoot photos to your frame, and I can put them on my mom's frame. I can put them on my mother-in-law's frame. I can put them on Todd's frame. So I'm always trying to remember which photos I've put on whose frames. And it even tells you, it can show you all of the photos that other people have put on that person's frame too. Anyway, wasn't meaning to talk about that, but yes. And the other thing I am excited about today, and this will be my last topic of the day, I am excited that all of the Pride merchandise is starting to come out. All of the major retailers that do the rainbows, because I love rainbows. I just love the rainbows. Target has their big Pride section out right now. May have spent a little bit too much money there, but Claire wanted some stuff too, because my kids are very, very proud of their dads as well. But rainbows are just sweet, fun. Everyone loves a rainbow, right? Like maybe that's probably why I like the shirt so much too, because it's kind of a rainbow. But I have like my Coach wallet. This is one of their Rainbow Pride wallets from I think 2 years ago. I have a bag that's similar. I got some tennis shoes. Converse has tennis shoes that are rainbow on the sole, like the bottom of them is rainbow, which I love. So all that merch is, so if you see any good Pride merch that's dropping, give me a heads up, send me a DM, post it on my wall or whatever, because I am there for it. I love all of it. And some people are like, it's pride washing. It doesn't, almost all of them donate some proceeds to a charity. But even if it's just for awareness, I'm there for it. I have no problem whatsoever with Listerine throwing a rainbow on the front of a Listerine bottle. I will buy it. I will buy it. And I know they donate, but even if they didn't, I still would buy it. Anyway. All righty. Well, that's all I got for today. Yes, that's it. And let me look through the comments, make sure I didn't miss anything. I don't think I did. Y'all been very communicative today. Thank you. All righty. Well, with that, I'm going to say bye. I love you. It's important to know you were loved. I love that you watched this. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself. Don't should yourself to death. No good comes from should. And I will most likely see you tomorrow at 4:30 for another episode of Cooped Up Live, should I say. Talk to y'all later. Bye.